Hello, welcome to the video. Today I'm working on my friend's 2010 Honda Jazz. It's got about 140,000 miles and the job today is replacing the tailgate. There's a couple of reasons for doing that. First is a dent. Second is some rust, which I'll show you a bit more of a close-up in a minute. And finally, it's got the sticky handle. Now you can fix the handle, but given that it's being replaced for the dent and the rust, I suppose that's another reason not to bother fixing this, but just to put a new tailgate on. Although the new one does seem to have a little bit of bother with the handle. It's not quite as bad as this one, but it isn't quite moving as freely as it could. So if we've got time, I'm going to do a video on taking that apart, stripping it and cleaning it and putting it all back together. So I'll just show you a close-up of the issues. There's the rust. There's the dent. And this handle, you can move it, but it doesn't spring back. It should spring back to that position, and when you pull it like that, it should go back again, and it's not. And it feels like it's clogged up with rust or something like that. So here's the new one. Well, it's not a new one, it's a second-hand one. In colour, obviously, which is going to make the swapping over process fairly straightforward. Comes with wiring there. Already got the wiper on it. Already got the hinges on it and a little squirter pipe there as well. Is it going to focus? So we've actually ended up with two sets of hinges. Haven't decided yet whether to unbolt them there or inside. Probably be best to do it inside because we don't break the paint on these bolts. We've got to take this trim off anyway to get to the wiring, because you saw the tail on the wiring once it goes inside is quite long, so it probably comes down here somewhere. So as we're taking this trim off anyway to get to that, we may as well take the whole hinge off with this one and put the new one on. The gas struts just unbolt. Haven't had a look at whether the new one comes with bumpers or not, but they'll come off fairly easily, I'm sure. And this one does already come with the latch. So we've cleared the boot out, taken that panel off, well, took the seal off first, taken that panel off, pulled this out. There's poppers, if you will, studs here, further at the bottom, slides over the rails. The wiring for the tailgate, the connector is just here. The next thing we've got to do is take this top piece out, which couldn't come out until the bottom piece is loose. I'm not going to remove it completely, but that's probably as far as it needs to go. There's an airbag inflator behind the C-pillar, so go easy there. So the seat belt's stopping this grey piece coming out, so the seat belt's got to come out, or the top of it. Now this is a 14mm bolt. Now that piece comes out. Now hopefully the tailgate wiring can come out. That's loose there. I hope it's not held in place by something behind this panel, but we will soon find out. It would appear it's not. Good. So I'm going to disconnect this squirter in a slightly different place to where the other one is, because if I disconnect it here and it dribbles, it will just dribble into the gutter and go away rather than into the car. Okay, so now I have an assistant holding the tailgate in place. If you don't have an assistant, you could use a broom handle or a cane or anything like that. Decided to do the gas struts first. Make sure they've not got any residual ping in them before you take the bolts out completely. These ones haven't, as you can see. Might be best to have those down like that so they're out of the way. And just do the same on the other side. Now this one has got some residual ping in it. This is the right hand side, in case can you see? No, you can't quite see. So the right hand side has got some residual force left in it. Just lift the tailgate up higher. And there we go. Okay, so just as I was about to embark on undoing the hinges here, so that nut through there, I realised that there's quite a lot of sealant around here, and so pulling that up could actually damage the paint in an area where there's going to be quite a lot of water, so potentially a risk of rust. So I said I wasn't going to undo these before because it would be obvious they'd been undone and you'd lose the sort of freshly painted look. But I've had a chat with the owner of the car, and actually neither of these approaches is without risk. So we've decided, because these hinges aren't damaged, we don't need to change them. So we're actually going to undo it at these, because we think there's probably going to be less chance of damaging the paint, or to a lesser extent here, than here. I don't know how that's going to go with aligning it yet. I don't know how much scope there is for adjusting the alignment at these bolts compared to this bolt. We will find out in due course, but we're going to try this first. So I'm going to tighten that one back up that I just undid. Which was a 14mm, by the way, if you're following along and you want to undo that one there. These look like 10s to me. Just take one out on each side first of all. Okay, release on that side. Loose on that side. You ready? Okay, so now time to just prepare the new one. I disconnected the rear washer at a different place to where this one's been disconnected. So I can pull that out of there, keep that in case any of the parts, in case we have any leaks as we're going along, and then just take these hinges off. Looking at the holes there, they aren't extended or anything, so there isn't much scope for adjustment, but we'll see how we get on. Okay, the holes for the gas struts look all right, so I think we're ready to put the new one back on. That's it. Just raise it up a little bit more if you get that. Stop there, that's fine. It's just so that the ratchet doesn't catch on the bodywork. As always, do all four of them up loosely before tightening any of them down. I was just checking whether there was any movement there in the hinges, and I was trying to line up the existing hinges with the dirt or wear marks, whatever you want to call them, from the old ones. There was a little bit, but not a great deal. Okay, let's put some gas struts back on. Down a fraction, that's it. Right, should be able to let go now. And indeed you can. Super. So let's connect it all up, get all this plastic back in place and see if everything works. In fact, we might not do it quite in that order. We might see if everything works before we connect put all the plastic back, because whilst this tailgate looks good, we haven't tested the wiper motor or the brake lights or the squirter or anything like that. No, the squirter pump will be elsewhere, so that won't be an issue. Could use a bit of silicone rubber grease on this. I haven't got any with me today, but that would be an option if it's struggling to go back in. That's gone in fine. Okay, so if you just put your foot on the brake first. Yeah, that works, good. Okay, and then do a bit of rear wash wipe. I'm standing hopefully suitably far back. Yeah, that's one. Yeah, super. The last thing to check is the locking, but I can't really do that until we've put all the seal back, because I can't check how it closes and stuff. Just get this little widget back in here, which I removed but didn't need to. Use a trim tool to just poke that edge back in, because it doesn't seem to want to go. Okay, happy with that. I'm just going to pop that back in on one clip so it holds in place. Maybe even two actually. Gives me a bit of clearance to then put the seat belt back. There's a little locating tab on the seatbelt bracket. This little one that went down in here, a Christmas tree type clip. And that carpet's moved slightly. Just tuck that all back. Push these two back in. Make sure this seal goes underneath. I've probably put this back in the wrong order. Okay, now for the important bit, I guess. Let's see if it actually closes. Trim panel's loose on that one. I'll address that in a bit, not my work. Right. I am very happy with that. Let's have a look at the gaps. Yeah, pretty pleased with that. That looks like it all lines up very well indeed. All right, so the last thing to do is to see if it locks. Indeed it does. Yep, super. So everything works. Okay, so that's it for replacing this tailgate. We've done the last few little bits. Got some new screws for the number plate because the old ones were all rusty. We've put the tyre sealant stuff back in its position. So we're all done. Thanks very much for watching. I hope it was helpful. If you have a Honda Jazz and you're contemplating replacing the tailgate, either because of rust or because of an accident or because of anything else. If you like this type of thing, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps spur me on to produce new content for you. For now, thanks very much for watching. See you next time. Bye.